Hello folks, and welcome to today's session or video. We're going to be talking about package managers for Windows. So what is a package manager? Well, a package manager or package management system is a collection of software tools that automate the process of installing, upgrading, configuring and removing computer programs from a computer in a consistent manner. Now, package managers are not something that are new to the IT industry. We've got Homebrew, which is for Mac or Linux already. We've also got Yum, which is another Linux package manager. And in the Java world, we have Yum. And these are tools that you may already be familiar with. But what we want to talk about today is really around the Windows ecosystem and what's available inside of that. Now, in 2011, Chocolatey came along as a package manager to help with the Windows ecosystem, and until then there was no package manager for Windows. What we've seen recently though is Microsoft entering the arena of package managers for Windows. In 2020 they launched Windows Package Manager, or Winget as it's sometimes referred to, and these are the two package managers inside the Windows ecosystem. What I want to do in today's session is really dive into both of those package managers and explain a bit more about them and really answer some questions that people have been asking me along the way. So what is Chocolatey? Now, as I said, Chocolatey was founded in 2011 by a guy called Rob Reynolds, and he has made Chocolatey open source. So it's available for anybody to use and contribute back into. And it's been a big player inside the industry and inside the Windows ecosystem. As you can see here, it supports all the way back to Windows 7 and Windows Server 2003. So it supports both the operating system that you would use on your desktop PC and also the server operating systems as well. Now, as it's open source, you can use it and it's mostly used by people at home, etc. However, when you start to get into the enterprise version and start to use that a bit more, what Chocolatey would love you to do, and what is probably best practice is to use a paid version, which not only supports Chocolatey continue to do their work within the community, but also gives you some better options as well, especially around support packages, etc. So there are a free version that you can use, and that's a community license, but there's then that paid license potentially for enterprises when they're using it at scale as well. Now, how do you get to use Chocolatey? So you can manually install it. You can go and download the install package or the command lines tool to install it, or you can automate the installation of it using Ansible, Chef, Puppet, PowerShell, etc. And again, that can be installed both on your Windows desktop and your Windows Server operating systems. Now, once you have Chocolatey installed on your machine, the whole point of it is to start to automate or get better at managing your software packages. So when you have Chocolatey installed, you can use the command line, or there is a GUI version available as well, to search for packages and install them. So if we have a look at that now, you would use the command choco search, and then you would search for the name of the package that you're looking for, and it would throw back the information about what matches those search parameters, and you'll get a few back potentially depending on what you're searching for, or you may just get one back depending on the result that you need. So yeah, it can be quite useful. You can search for packages through the command line, and you can do everything through that command line option if you wanted to from your machine. My personal preference actually is to go to the Chocolatey website and actually use their browser-based search for it. It's just a better way for me, I think, in terms of actually using the search facility and finding the right package that I want to install. Here you can see I've searched for Octopus Deploy packages, and what you'll see on screen is the results that I'm getting back, but also that command line, that Choco install Octopus Deploy command that I could then take to my machine and install the software. So I'm getting a lot more rich detail, I think, personally, doing it through the browser, but you can do it through the command line as I've shown you using the Choco search command. So where do these packages come from that you're searching and you're installing? Well, they come from a couple of places. So Chocolatey have a community repository that has, I think, over 6,000, nearly 7,000 entries in it right now. And that has been contributed to by Chocolatey staff, but also the wider community because it's open source. So Chocolatey invite anybody who has the ability or the skills or interest in contributing packages, adding to this community repository. Now this gives you the ability to, like I say, install packages. It could be the Octopus Deploy, Tentacles, or it could be something like the Git tooling, or it could be Visual Studio Code, whatever it may be. Now, if you are an enterprise, you may not want your users grabbing packages from the community repository. You may want to limit it down. You may want to have a select number of packages that they can install, bits of software that you want to control. And you can build your own repository and kind of restrict what can be pulled down from that repository. Again, this is more for your enterprise users. It's also great if you are an enterprise user and you have licenses that have special copyrights or license agreements, and you can actually package them up within that community repository. If you've paid for a bit of software and you've got the licensing, you've got the copyright agreement signed, etc., then you can package it up for your internal organisation and then host that Chocolatey repository and have that software available within that repository. So there are a couple of ways to do it, but the majority of us will probably pull from the community repository that is there for us. Now, as I said, anybody can contribute to the Chocolatey repository and add to it and make it better for the next person or yourself next time you use it. Now, if you are wanting to contribute, you can use a command line. So you can type choco new-h and then the interface will walk you through the process of creating your packages. There's also some great documentation on the Chocolatey website and lots of different tutorials there. So if you want to do it, then it is well documented for you to be able to do that. Now, if you are a business user, if you are a paying customer of Chocolatey, there is a GUI, so a graphical user interface version of the package builder available for you, so you don't have to go through the command line. You can actually go through a graphical user interface to be able to package up your software for your own Choco repository. Now, Chocolatey is a very powerful tool and there's lots of basic commands that you'll use. Some of the more advanced ones that I like are these ones on screen right now. So Choco outdated, if you run that on your machine, it will show you all the packages that are out of date on your machine. So you could be several versions behind. This command will show you and then you can address it. There is a Chocolatey command that can help you upgrade all of those packages, so it's choco upgrade all. Some people may not like to do that because it takes control away from certain things, but again, with that choco update all command, you actually have an accept parameter you can put into it, so you can avoid updating some bits of software. So if you have to stay on a certain version of, for example here, Skype or Git, for compatibility issues within your environment, you can still run that upgrade all command, but avoiding upgrading the packages that you don't want to move to a different version. Now, the other command that I love is choco install package name. So using the package name, so that could be Skype or it could be Git, and then using -x86, and that forces the x86 installation on a 64-bit machine. Again, a bit of a niche command, but it is there and it is available for you, assuming that the package has that kind of installation, and it's something that you can use. So there are a lot of advanced commands inside Chocolatey, so if you're using it, I definitely recommend spending some time having a look at some of the documentation so that you can see the full power of what Chocolatey can do for you within your environment. Now, as I said, in 2020, Microsoft entered the arena of Windows package managers with Windows Package Manager. So let's have a look at that in a bit more detail. Now, you might see Windows Package Manager referred to as Winget within the internet and on Twitter, etc. So that's the other name that it may come under. Now, Windows Package Manager is also open source, so the code is there, you can contribute to it, you can have a read at it, and you can dive into that. Now, this is created by Microsoft, but again, open source. What you'll notice though, the big difference here with Windows Package Manager is it only supports Windows 10 and above. It doesn't support the server operating systems. I've told they are looking into whether they will add in additional support for that, but at the moment only supports Windows 10 and Windows 11 or above from there. So the client that requires Windows 10 1809, so that's build 17763 or later. So that's something to bear in mind as well when you're trying to use this bit of tooling. Now, there is a caveat around the server operating system support. So it says that Windows Server 2019 is not supported as the Microsoft Store is not available, nor are updated dependencies. You may be able to get Windows Package Manager installed on Windows Server 2022, but this is considered experimental and not supported, so you'll have to do a lot of manual work to be able to get this to work. But as I said, they are open to suggestions, and if it's something that you think is needed, then please get in touch with the product team, and they will be more than happy to listen to you and try and help build a use case for actually making Windows Package Manager inside Windows Server. Windows Package Manager is free. There is only a free version. There is no paid version that you can buy. It's just a free tool available to you. Now, there are a few different ways that you can actually get Windows Package Manager or install Winget onto your machine. It is coming inside a lot of the insider builds. So some of the insider builds already have it pre-packaged inside it. So if you are using some of the insider builds, and I believe it's more the kind of early release insider builds, you may already have it. You can then, if you don't have it, you could manually install it. So you can go onto the GitHub repository where the team are working and install it from there, or you can get it from the Microsoft Store as well. So there's a couple of ways that you can get this on your machine. Now, once you have Windows Package Manager installed on your machine, you can go into the command line and actually start to search for packages and use it to find for installation. So let's have a look at what that does. So the command that you would use is winget, hence the name, the nickname that it gets. So if you type in winget search and then the name of the package, so in this instance I'm using Windows Terminal, I get some information back. I have to accept the source agreements, but then I get information back, and for me I think this is quite a good format of being able to get that information back. I get the name, I get the ID, I get the version, and I'm told where the package is coming from. If we search for something else, say Elgato, again, we're getting a lot more information. For me, this is better than the Chocolatey command line search. It gives me the information that I need in a much more easy to read and understandable format. But again, personal preference for you here. Windows Package Manager doesn't have that website interface that Chocolatey does that you can go to and search for packages. All the information is really inside the command line for Windows Package Manager. So where do the packages come from for Windows Package Manager? So they come from a couple of sources. So they are coming from the Microsoft Store. So there are a lot of tools inside the Microsoft Store that are now available to be installed via Windows Package Manager. The second place that we could potentially get packages from is the public or the community repository. So again, the Microsoft team have spent a lot of time building up that repository, building up the software that's available inside there, and also the public have contributed. I've contributed a few ideas into that and suggestions as well, so you can do that. Like the tool itself is open source, and also the community repository is open source as well, so the team are always looking for people to contribute to that. Now, much like Chocolatey, you can have a private repository, and again, this is aimed at more the enterprise customers who want to limit what their end users can install through Windows Package Manager. But you can create a private repository, host the information there, and get people to pull from there and be able to install software. And again, that's so you can control it inside an enterprise environment, and also if you have software that has copyrights or special licenses that you can put it inside a community repository, but you can put it inside a private repository. It covers those bases for you. Now, as I said, anybody can contribute to the Windows Package Manager community repository. Again, there's lots of information documented on how you can do that. And there also is a Windows Package Manager manifest creator tool, which is command line based, which will help you walk through actually packaging software up. So if you are a software developer and want to do that, then you can go and grab the Windows Package Manager manifest creator and do it. If you're just someone who's interested and wants to contribute to the community repository, then you absolutely can do that as well. And all of it is hosted inside GitHub. The Windows Package Manager is a powerful tool, and some of the advanced commands that I want to highlight to you that I enjoy using are on screen right now. So you've got winget install --id in the package name, and then --silent, which will install the packages for you with no display boxes. So it'll be completely silent, you'll get no prompts up on your screen. So that's great to have if you are trying to automate the installation of software, or if you just don't want pop-up boxes on your screen while you're working away and things are installing in the background. Now you can also specify the version of the package that you want to install. Again, if you are tied to having a specific version of something installed on your machine, you can go with this command and you can do that as well. So there is that granularity if you want to control the version that you have installed on your machine. And a favourite that I always love to run is winget upgrade --all, and that upgrades all of the installed software, all of the known software, and updates it to the latest version. Something I always do on a Monday morning, and also when I come back on my holiday, so that I've got the latest version of everything on my machine. Another advanced command that I wanted to show you is winget show and then the package name. This is giving us all of the information that we need around a certain package. It gives us the version number, gives us the publisher, gives us the description, gives us the licensing information. It gives us the SHA-256 number as well if we wanted to check on all of that. This is Windows Package Manager's version of the Chocolatey website that we saw earlier on. You get all of that information on the Chocolatey's website. Within Winget, we don't have that website, but we have the command that we can use. So winget show and then the name of the package gives us that information, and we can dive into it if we needed to check further on a bit of software that we wanted to install. Now, one of the cool things that I love about Windows Package Manager is the ability to replicate the installed software from one machine to another. So, for example, say you are switching over laptops, you've got a brand new one for work or for home use, and you want to make sure that all the stuff that you've got installed on that old machine is now replicated onto the new one. We can actually do that using Windows Package Manager. So here we are on our old or current laptop, and we use the winget export command to export a list of all the software that we have installed on our machine. Now what this does is Windows Package Manager checks all the software, checks if it can install that software for you, and then creates a JSON file for you. Now you'll see that there's some software here that's not installed, some of my gaming software and various different PCs, but what it will do is pull together all the normal bits of software, say Git, Windows Video Studio, 7-zip here for example, Edge, OneDrive, Stream. There's lots of bits of software here that it's going to install for me. So I can take this JSON file and transport it onto my new machine, and then import it. So if we just pause this video here, you've got the command winget import, and then it's importing that file. So we're specifying that JSON file, and then we specify ignore unavailable software. So anything that the export command has picked up that is not able to be installed in Winget will be ignored, and the process will just go through it, so it won't error out for us. So if we let this run, what this will then do is go through that JSON file, find all the software that it can install, and install all of that software for us. Now it may take a while for this to happen, and you'll see here I've sped this up for us. There's different display boxes coming up installing different bits of software for us. So I think we've had Git install there, we've had Edge install, we had Spotify there, we've got WhatsApp, we've got Slack. There's various things happening, and this allows you the ability to rebuild that machine quite quickly, and potentially you could use this for automating the build of machines in your environment. So if you are working building new machines for the end users in your environment, you could have this working away as well in the background. So it's a great feature inside Windows Package Manager for you as well. Now, for those working in an enterprise environment, you do have group policy support for Windows Package Manager. So you can control what's happened. You can even disable Windows Package Manager from running inside any of your machines if you didn't want it running. But you do have group policy support for those working in an enterprise solution. And last but not least, the Windows Package Manager team have the roadmap available on GitHub, so you can go and have a look, you can go and have discussions with them, you can go and feedback ideas into them around the product. Everything for that is inside GitHub, and the address is on screen as well. Now, the question I get asked all the time is, which one should I use? To be honest, I've got both installed on my machines and they both have their use cases. There are certain bits of software that aren't available inside Chocolatey but are inside Windows Package Manager, and vice versa as well. So I use them concurrently as well. Also, Chocolatey supports server installations, so it is supported on Windows Server versions, whereas Windows Package Manager isn't. So again, if you're working in a server environment, maybe Chocolatey is the tool to use. I don't think it's an either or, to be honest. I think they both have their use cases, they both have their needs. We've probably got lots of scripts to install Chocolatey packages. We've probably got some scripts now that install packages via Windows Package Manager, and it's about using the right tool. So I use both of them, I love both of them. So yeah, have a go with them if you have never used them. If you've not installed one of them, install it, have a go with it, see what you think about it versus the other one, and potentially enjoy both of them at the same time as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hopefully this has been useful for you. You've enjoyed it. There's more resources and more information around Windows Package Managers, both Chocolatey and Windows Package Manager, if you follow the link on screen. And yeah, hopefully I'll catch you again, folks. But thank you for tuning in today.